were never supposed to exist.
What is up, you all? We're back with another Final Destination Bloodlines video. Before we get into it, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So we're going to be explaining the ending with Final Destination Bloodlines, starting off with everything with Stephanie. So basically, she's trying to find out the order that her family is going to get took out in, her bloodline and everything, especially after everything her grandmother Iris told her about Death's original design and the cycle of death. So she's trying to find out, you know, the order, and then she finds out her cousin Eric actually is not the son of Howard, so the order is messed up. And from there, we try to follow the two brothers, Eric and Bobby. They're trying to find a way to how to resuscitate his brother Bobby. He has a peanut allergy, and he gets like this Reese cup or whatever, and he tries to, you know, let him eat it, and then he's gonna try to bring him back to life in the hospital. Of course, they're in the hospital, so he think it'll be easier, but it backfires. And it's one of the craziest scenes in the movie where Eric gets sucked into an MRI machine. Bro, those fucking piercings coming off of his chest, and like the private area was actually crazy work. It is definitely one of the craziest scenes in the franchise, and it actually is one of the craziest scenes in this movie. So pushing forward, the main thing with the ending was everything that took place at Iris's little hideout, where she had out of protection to keep her away from the world. So it comes down to Charlie, Stephanie, and their mom Darlene being involved with the final act, and they're trying to protect their mom. They found out that basically their mom just kind of stayed away from them because she felt that if she got close to her kids would be involved with everything that Iris was saying, and her kids would be in danger. So pushing forward, Death ends up catching up to Darlene and taking her out right in front of Charlie, and she sacrifices herself basically. I mean, she was going to die anyways, but she is standing in front of Charlie. She's toasted, and then she just ends up dying right there. So the main thing with the ending was basically where Charlie's trying to save Stephanie out the RV, and she's like drowning in there, and she's trying to swim and unbuckle her and everything. And then he does it, and I knew that actually. I'm like, I don't think she's dead. You know what I'm saying? He just brought her back to reality because she was unconscious. She had water in her system, and that was them thinking that they resuscitated Stephanie. So we move on basically to his prom, Charlie's prom, his infamous prom night. And then, you know, they're living life and everything. It seems like Death has took a break with these two. And then eventually we see the older woman from the hospital. I don't know if you guys noticed, but at the hospital, after everything happened with Eric and Bobby, Stephanie had the guideline book to Death, and that penny from the 60s that where it took place in the original premonition, that penny actually was taped in that book because the premonition never went through. So Iris ended up just taking a penny from that annoying little kid that threw the penny in. By the way, it's something that's very interesting with that penny because he stole that penny out of a wishing well. You know, people say if you steal a penny out of a wishing well, it's bad luck. So Iris ended up taking a penny to stop the situation because that penny was going to be a big part of the premonition happening, because we seen once he threw it in the premonition, it comes back to the vent, it jams the vent a little bit, and it dominoes to the floor cracking, all this stuff catching on fire, the elevator getting stuck. The penny was a big part of the premonition. So we see the penny actually makes another cameo on the end where the same woman who picks it up at the hospital drops the penny out of her purse. She's about to buy lemonade from some kids, and that penny ends up rolling all the way down the stairs, down the street, ends up going to the train tracks, jamming a rail on the train track, causing the train to derail off the tracks, and then just charging through the neighborhood. And I'm thinking that Charlie and Stephanie's going to get took out from the train, kind of similar to how it was in Final Destination 3 with Wendy. But then it goes to Final Destination 2 with the logs actually coming out at them and taking them out, which was a good callback to Final Destination 2. I've been seeing a lot of people in the community saying that they think that Charlie and Stephanie is alive, and that's actually just Stephanie's premonition because the penny is involved. She's having the same type of premonition that her grandmother had in the 60s, and that's going to be the start to Final Destination 7. Sorry to be the one to tell y'all this. No, it's true. Stephanie and Charlie actually did die indeed when you go look at the credits, they made the newspaper, so it's cemented, almost like that Kimberly type of situation with Final Destination 2, because we see their death on the newspaper. I mean, we see them die on screen with the logs, but a lot of people think that's how Final Destination 7 was going to kick up, with basically us finding out that that was just her premonition, and they did not go through with that, and they actually just kind of showed us that to lead us on to Final Destination 7, and it was going to still have Stephanie and Charlie involved, similar to how Clear was in the first one and in the second one. But no, I'm here to tell y'all that they actually did die. They made the newspaper, and that was actually a crazy way to die, man. Them just running at the screen, and they're getting chased down by these logs or whatever, and they end up dying. So death did catch up to them. I mean, Tony Todd did say, like, you're all going to die. And one thing I want to say is, with Final Destination 7, I think we will begin a Final Destination 7 because this is the most gross Final Destination movie from my understanding. It's over 100 million, and it's just a lot of things that they can do. They can keep going on and just creating new deaths and just new stories. I mean, this one I feel like was the most meaningful because it went back to the grandmother, the first premonition. It explained William Bloodworth, basically him being a little boy in the tower the whole time. That's how he's connected to the whole franchise, and it's because Iris saved him. So I think it could be something like that. We did see that Eric actually was, you know, basically, I'm gonna just say adopted. He wasn't adopted, but his dad wasn't Howard. So yeah, it seems like Death kind of fulfilled everything it needed. It took out Charlie and Stephanie. Or I think that Final Destination 7 can be about something very interesting, being about Kimberly and Thomas Burke, and us just kind of getting back to modern day with those two and everything that happened with them. I think that this could be something crazy, especially with Kimberly. We find out through William Bloodworth that she actually cheated Death, and you know, Death doesn't like to, you know, push forward without tying up some loose ends. And I think that would be crazy, kind of just having another group involved, and maybe somehow, some way they're trying to look into everything with Final Destination in the previous situations. They see that Kimberly cheated Death somehow. Maybe William Bloodworth left some stuff behind, and they end up trying to look for Kimberly Burke, and she does help them, but Death eventually catches up to her and everything. I think that will actually be crazy and be a great way to pay respect to Final Destination 2, and just this crazy just thing that's going on with Kimberly, and people thought she wasn't gonna return. Now she's officially returned, and she's existent in this world. So yeah, you know how Death operates. Obviously, William Bloodworth actually reminded us that Death doesn't like to be cheated or effed with. So I think it could be something like that. But overall, yes, this video was me just basically kind of explaining that. And then I think the penny, what's the significance of that penny? You know, we even saw it have a time where it does like the heads or tails type of thing. And if you think about it, the little kid, it was his fault. I mean, at the end of the day, the death was going to happen because of the bloodline, but maybe they was going to get bought some more time. But once he got it out the wishing well, and the penny dominoed everything. It's like the penny was what kept everything connected. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's at least how I'm feeling, because it was just a big part of, you know, the vent getting jammed at the Skyview Tower, and then the train derailing with Stephanie's death. And then if Iris' premonition would have came true, it would have been a part of her death. Well, it wouldn't even been on Stephanie, because remember what Stephanie said, they weren't supposed to exist. So either way, man, I think a Final Destination 7 is going to happen, just off the fact it did so good in the box office. And yeah, that's the end and explain. Comment down below, what was your favorite scene with Final Destination Bloodlines? Let me know down in the comments. Unfortunately, this is the end of the video. I want y'all to hit me up on all my social medias at ILIKESCARY, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.